Good evening, friends. Operational situation by the end of January 29th. Also, at the end, we will talk about the news background. Well, we will start with the Lyman direction. We will make this summary as short as possible. We will only analyze the main points on the front. Thorns. Avdeevka, active hostilities are continuing in this sector of the front. It means that Russian troops have attacked once again, and as we said on the previous broadcast, we record that the main blow is shifting from the area of the Krugaya beam in the direction of the 3 Yars. It means that approximately in this area, the main fighting is taking place. Russian troops are still attacking within the gray zone. We do not record any new changes, but based on the geolinking data that we see, now the main offensive actions of the enemy are directed at the near and far Yar, and also the Laptiv Yar. Here it is possible to restrain the defense, but as we see, the enemy regularly shifts blows, trying to find the very gap in the defense, in order to advance further. Therefore, active hostilities continue in this sector of the front. We do not fix any changes by the end of January 29th. In the Seversky direction without any changes, in the Bakhmut direction, in Bogdanovka. So, we have said that there are two pieces of information. First of all, the first one that we referred to, when I published a post in my Telegram, I left there a link to the comments of a soldier of the 93rd Brigade, who reports that about 40% of the settlement of Bogdanovka was occupied by Russian troops. Then information was received, including from the Russian side, such as from the Russian military commander Ribber, that Russian troops had withdrawn to the northeastern part of the settlement. Therefore, we made a remark with you then, that the situation was being clarified. Well, today there is a clarification. So according to the frames from the enemy drone, according to geolinking, everything remains within the gray zone. There were a lot of shots. In fact, it's all about this area, I mean the positions of the APU. Well, and already on the basis of where the fighting took place, where the Russian positions on personnel from the APU drones, we made changes. The situation as of yesterday, the situation today looks something like this. Therefore, the information that they retreated to the northeastern part of the settlement corresponds to reality. We could not gain a foothold, we will speak like this. As for the section between Ivanovsky and Kleshivka, they asked to comment in more detail because from different sources from the fighters comes all kinds of information about the attacks of Russian troops and from the Russian side that they are advancing. In fact, there are quite active hostilities in this sector of the front. In general, on the southern flank, these are probably the most active events in this area right now. Not most likely, but precisely, Russian troops are trying to cling to one of the forest belts in the western direction, attacking from the territory of the former abandoned Artemovsk airfield, and there are also attempts, but they were positional in nature, to advance in the direction of Ivanovskoye, but all attacks were repulsed there. One of the goals, perhaps this is just the same Ivanovsko, what they are saying now. Why? Because the advance, the capture of Ivanovskoye, we are talking about the worst-case scenario. It closes the issue with the dominant heights. With Kleshivka, Avdeevka, that is, there will be no supply. Therefore, it seems that Russian troops are aimed at him. There is such information, and at the same time, taking into account the fact that the open fields between Ivanovo and Kleshivka in terms of drones, as this insider published yesterday, the number of drones in certain areas of the APU already prevails, that is, there are statistics, which we also talked about on broadcasts, there's just exactly what they were hitting, according to equipment, infantry on both sides. The number of videos processed on the network, published, means that somewhere it is even possible not to have parity again, but to put pressure on the number of Russian troops. There is such a moment, so urban development is extremely important for them. Any development that exists in the current period of the year. It is clear that there will be spring, summer, autumn, there will be greenery, but we are talking about now, and for now. In order for them to move, they need construction, and it is possible that yes, Ivanovskaya is one of the goals, since there is a relatively short distance here, and they will try to storm it. But, this is what we say the worst-case scenario has now been announced. In any case, we are talking about the fact that it is possible to repel attacks in the area between the Ivanovo and the Chernobyl Garden Association, and in the direction of Kleshivka. We go to Avdeevka. We do not record any significant changes on the northern flank. The main fighting on the northern flank is still in the area of Stepavoy, a little northwest of Stepavoy, along the railway, including positions along the northern railway, as well as south of Vesela. On the southern flank and south of Avdeevka, I will comment on a few points here. So, I told you on previous broadcasts that we do not yet have visual evidence that the Tsarskaya Okhota complex has come under the control of the APU. Because footage was published, so it means from the Russian troops, where the APU is conducting assault operations. In other words, this suggests that counterattack battles are taking place in this area directly, but there is no information about taking control, I mean visual.